This house that we're buying is 3.5 bathrooms.
Yeah.
And I told them all, I was like, I will do our bathroom and I will do the half bath, but you guys are responsible for the 2 bathrooms. I'm not cleaning 4 bathrooms myself. It's not happening.
Okay, welcome to the March 4th, 2026 Town of Durham, Maine Planning Board meeting. Roll call, we have Mr. Stickney, Ms. Kaplinger, Mr. Purrington, and myself, so we have a quorum. Any requests for the song? Then we'll just go with the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Acceptance of meeting minutes from February 4th. Any comments on those meeting minutes?
Comment is that they were extremely thorough, which I greatly appreciate. Very, very much
I
so.
agree. Yeah.
Agreed.
I would move to accept them as presented.
I'll second.
Second. Just look through my notes here. All in favor? Great. Informational exchange on oh, I'm sorry, I missed 3 amendments to the agenda. Sorry about that. Any amendments to tonight's agenda?
I don't have any.
The only one I have is under continuing business B. I move to strike that because we haven't received any new information on the subdivision. So therefore, I don't see any need to have any further discussion on that. And that's all I have as an amendment.
I'd like to second that.
Okay.
I
All in
agree.
favor? Okay, thank you. Okay, back to informational exchange on non-agenda items. Mr. Thavarj?
I did include my monthly report that goes to the town manager and the select board. And it includes an update on your last meeting. And then it also includes the update on the codification, which you're going to be discussing tonight, I believe, the draft. And then I also updated them on the agriculture committee. They've gone to the select board. Basically, they've agreed to hold off on trying to get amendments on definitions, recognizing that you can't just change the definitions. You need to deal with the standards that go along with those definitions. So they've agreed to work on that through a public process over the coming year, like you've done on various initiatives. And what they are doing is going in the interim for an amendment to the fee schedule for what they call high wind tunnels and temporary greenhouses, which are treated basically as commercial structures that have pretty hefty building permit fees. So they're looking for the select board to do some relief on that in terms of helping agriculture as kind of an interim step. And we did get the grant for the economic development study. The town manager has signed a contract with the state. We've not yet received the money, but Greater Portland Council of Governments will be kind of leading that project like they're doing the open space plan. So that'll be kicking off probably after town meeting. And that was what I had in my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
I'm all set.
Thank you.
So you're saying after town meeting is when they might establish the economic development?
Yeah, I think the select board just has so much going on right now with the budget, the, solid waste, turnover. There's just an awful lot of issues that are on their plate right now, so I'm thinking probably town manager and I talked today about possibly looking realistically to get that thing rolling right after the town meeting.
Okay. Are there any residents here that would like to comment on the information exchange on non-agenda items? Any non-residents here that would like to discuss this? Okay. All right, we'll move on. Next, continuing business, public hearing on a preliminary plan application for Durham Heights subdivision, 439 meeting, Quaker Meeting House Road, map 2, lot 60. I have a, sorry, I don't know this by heart yet, but it's a prepared script for all public meetings. So are we all set to open the public hearing on this?
Yes.
Okay, I will now open the public hearing for the application, Durham Heights subdivision, StoneX Construction LLC. Sightlines and Engineering is the owner's rep. The project is located on Quaker Meeting House Road. The purpose of this public hearing is to receive oral and written testimony relevant to the board's review of this application under the town's adopted ordinances and standards. This hearing is not a forum to debate broader town policies or growth management issues, which are established by town meeting and must be applied by the planning board. The board's authority is limited to determining whether the application meets or fails the adopted subdivision standards. Before we begin, I'll review the procedures and ground rules for the public hearing. Under the planning board's bylaws, the chair is responsible for describing the purpose of the hearing and procedures to be followed. The board may receive oral or documentary evidence, but must exclude testimony that is irrelevant or unduly repetitious. The chair will determine the relevance of testimony or evidence presented. Any board member may challenge that determination by motion, subject to a majority vote of the board. All testimony will be taken in an orderly fashion. Speakers are not asked to interrupt others. The chair may impose reasonable time limits as necessary to ensure that everyone who wishes to speak has an adequate opportunity to be heard. So given the size of the crowd, I'll give everybody about 7 minutes. All questions and comments shall be directed to the chair. I will then direct questions to the appropriate party, whether that is the applicant, the applicant's consultant, staff, or another party for a response. Direct questioning of parties by members of the public is not permitted. All parties will be given the opportunity to present information, submit rebuttal evidence, and conduct cross-examination of other parties through the chair within reasonable limits to prevent an abuse of the process. For the record, an aggrieved party is defined in the land use ordinance as a person who can demonstrate particularized injury resulting from the approval or denial of the application. An injury shared equally by all residents of the town does not constitute a particular injury. The application materials and staff comments have been made available in advance. The purpose of tonight's hearing is to receive public input on the application itself, not to provide a general explanation of the review process or ordinance requirements. These procedures are necessary to ensure fairness, protect due process rights for all parties, and allow the board to meet its legal deadlines for decision making. When you get up to make a comment, please provide your name and address for the record, and please speak clearly. Okay, I'll now open it for public comment. Is anybody here from the public? I'm sure you all that are here know what the plan looks like. Any comments?
That's good.
Should I count down to 7 minutes or?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, all right. We'll give it till quarter of.
For public comment?
Can I ask a question while we wait?
I have a clarification, whatever, I have a process question. If no one's here,
Mhm.
can we just open it and then close it?
Good.
Or do you?
That's what I was asking. Like, should I
Oh,
wait
yeah.
the 7 minutes for?
No.
No. Okay. You said yes. So.
No, I meant, I meant the other way around. Let's close it. Go ahead and close it. I am so
I
sorry.
didn't ask
I'm
if
so
we should
sorry.
close it. I was anyway. Okay.
Maybe if someone had something to say, they would.
Yeah.
eager to say it.
Yeah, I guess. Okay.
I would move that since no one from the public is attending tonight, that we close the public comments.
Okay. Public comment is closed.
Can we ask the process question? That, okay.
Is that part of public comment?
No, that wouldn't be public comment.
It's
would
not
be-
on the subdivision. Your question will not have to do with the subdivision
You can-
application.
You can just say you're not gonna answer it if you don't wanna answer it, and that's okay. I'm just wondering if you got written public comment, would we know that, and would you make that available to us?
We would.
It's actually.
Yeah.
you
Okay.
would have
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay, perfect.
Yeah, good
Absolutely.
question,
There
though.
were comments from. the
It's one letter,
Conservation
conservation.
Commission posted
Okay,
on the website.
perfect.
Yeah,
I did
right.
read that. I didn't know if any residents gave any written testimony, written
No.
comments. Okay.
But it would count if we got any, yeah.
Totally. Yeah,
Okay.
no, that's happened in the past
Okay.
and we've made that available and brought that up at
Okay,
the
thank
public
you. I
comment.
appreciate it.
Of course. Okay. So that closes number 6, continuing business. And we will move on to,
Could I ask a question related to process?
okay,
You had mentioned something in the email about a 60-day period.
You will need to make a decision at the next meeting, which is within 30 days of the public hearing.
What decision?
Unless on this subdivision application, unless by mutual consent, the parties agree to extend that deadline.
Okay.
If there's a, I don't know, hopefully this snowstorm's over with, but if there's, I assume there's some ability to extend it if we need to.
Absolutely.
Okay.
yeah, so great process question. Yes, so now that we've had the public hearing meeting, we now have 30 days. It was 60 days from your original application, 30 days from public comment. And if you feel as if you need to extend that, just let us know before the next meeting.
Okay.
And the next meeting is scheduled for, I believe it's
April
1st.
Mm.
No joke.
Wednesday, April 1st. So the deadline for you all to, anybody, you got it? What is it?
Maybe we go for it. Yeah.
25th. So the deadline for materials for this application is March 25th. And please let us know as soon as possible if you need to extend or would like to extend the 30-day decision-making process. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, new business. I see none on the agenda. Any board members? I know we talked about the agenda a minute ago. Any new business anybody else would like to discuss or add to this?
I have nothing, no.
Okay. All right. Last, number 8, other business, planning board discussion of land use ordinance amendments. Public comment will not be taken. So we've already seen with me here. We've already seen the minor policy changes, the admin policy changes. These codification issues were issued during last month's agenda. So we've had a couple of months now to review these. Just to, George and I meet before these meetings just to make sure that we understand what the agenda is and we're all on the same page there. So to save some time, I did send George an email with some of the items that I took issue with. I won't say I took issue with, but I thought needed more clarification. There are a few other things that we can talk about afterward that I don't think need to be amended or changed as part of the codification. But anyway, those are my comments. You've all have seen the email. I will certainly run through those if you'd like. But basically, wherever I saw a section that just said the definition or section is deleted without seeing the original text, I thought that would be helpful to provide was the original text that would be deleted. Sometimes you see something in those texts, a sentence or a phrase, or that even though we're eliminating it, maybe it might apply somewhere else, or may be better used in somewhere else in the ordinance. Anyhow, that was my comment on the codification.
Yeah. Didn't we already go through these before? Maybe just generally, but didn't we already see all of the items that Brian brought up, including like floodplain, like the specific things we did go through?
So last month, George, I think that was the first time, that we've seen all of the codification
Right.
recommended changes. And we didn't discuss it at the last meeting because it was a lot to process. So George allowed us another month to go through them and see if we had any other comments. So yes, we did see them, but we haven't discussed
No,
them.
I mean, like, it was a while ago though.
Yeah.
And these first came
Yeah,
out,
these came out like just at the end of December,
yeah,
and we had a quick discussion.
Okay.
You had some questions.
provided
Julia,
comments
like on
at
the
that- okay,
floodplain and
thank you.
stuff. So,
Thank
but this is like the final version.
yes, okay,
Complete with all of the editorial comments that I've added
Got it.
to tell people, explain to people what the changes are. And it came down to 100 from originally they had 140 questions.
Mhm.
But what happened was some of their questions overlapped with your minor policy issues, like on affordable housing and those things. So what I did was pulled out all of their ones, the 40 or so that related to issues that you were dealing with. Excuse me. And basically, so what that draft contains is 100, which are pretty much purely editorial changes as opposed to like the deletions that Brian raised questions about. So yeah, this is the opportunity to kind of look through this, and if there are changes, actual changes, as opposed to just clarifications, that's still possible. And so we should I encourage you to take a quick look at it, or a longer look. And if there's anything beyond, because that's just presentation, what you're raising, Brian. But there's all the content is there too. And as I explained, the ones that Brian raised were related to like the historic district program was repealed last year, and all of the standards were changed and the process was changed, but the definitions never got changed. So what this is doing is cleaning up some of the stuff that was left over in there that it's not in the ordinance anymore. So the other changes were ones where several ordinances were folded into this large land use ordinance, the gravel pits, mobile home parks, and many of those had their own penalty provisions and severability provisions that when we put it in, never really pull that stuff out. So basically every article in this ordinance is severable, which means if some provision of it is struck down by a court, the rest of it remains intact. That's what a severability provision does. So you don't need individual severability ones spread through there. And you certainly don't want them in there, because then that's confusing. What parts are severable, what parts are not. So you have one in the administration, I think it is one severability provision for the entire land use, what's going to be the land use code. And similarly, some of those ordinances had varying penalties. There was a fine on addressing of $10. There was a fine on something else of $100. Well, under state law, towns are guided in terms of what kind of penalties can be assessed for land use violations. So that really is established not by individual provisions, but by the overarching authority of the town to assess penalties for violations of the ordinance. So those were the types of things that were just deleted. And everything else, there's actually wording changes. So you see, we've put in what the wording change was and then showed in bold print what the result is in the updated ordinance. So for those ones that Brian brought up, which, you know, what was deleted? It's a good question. So I gave 3 options for responding to that. One would be to go ahead and put in the boxes like the other parts, just that it's all deleted, with no explanation. The second option is to explain what I just said for each place that it happens, but not put in the text that's being deleted. And the third option is to do both. And my recommendation in terms of what the public would most benefit from would be just to put in a simple statement of explanation. And then that makes the formatting of this whole long document much easier for me. But I'll do however you want to do it. Either just put in the remove text, put in the simple explanation, or put in both. We can do however you want to proceed.
So are you suggesting that we would, if we went with the deleted text, there'd be a line through that?
Yeah.
Then the change would be underlined.
Well, it's all going to be strike through
Okay.
because it's deleted.
Right.
Well, I certainly think it's good to keep the strike throughs there because a lot of people should realize what is being removed.
And I think that's consistent with
Yeah.
everything else in the document,
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah.
strike throughs.
Yep.
And if during a public meeting, there's public comment that needs explanation, George, you do a great job.
Sure.
So we can just hold off until that comes up, if it comes up.
Yep.
All right. So I don't know if you need a vote on this, but
No, your direction is pretty clear. So I'll go ahead and put in all of those text parts that were removed.
okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Um.
Oh, and the other conversation that Brian and I had on this is that some of the changes were related to the floodplain management part. And as I explained to Brian, the FEMA, which administers the National Flood Program, and in order to be eligible for flood insurance in your community, the community has to have adopted the national model for floodplain. It's kind of like the DEP shoreline zoning guidelines and rules. So basically what the consultant did was they went, compared yours with the state model, the current updated state model, and basically pointed out all of the differences and said, you got to change this wording. And a lot of it is updating for things like RV parks, you know, the old floodplain management program regulated mobile home parks in floodplains, but not RV parks. So those are the types of changes that when they updated it however many years ago, they put in that we didn't respond to.
Thank you. So just sticking with this topic, today is the 4th. Last month, we talked about the schedule for all of this. And right now we have March 18th, Wednesday, March 18th for, I believe it's going to be held here, the first public hearing. And George, that will be just on minor policy changes?
No, my suggestion would be, given that you've had an extensive public participation process leading up to this point, and this is just a final opportunity for anybody to question or make comments, while changes can still be made, And so my suggestion would be to do a short presentation on first the minor policy issues. Take any comments or questions on that. And then do the administrative changes. There were about 10 of those, I think. And then take public comment questions on that part. And then the third warrant article is going to be on there related to ordinances is the codification itself. Again, open it up for public questions, comments, and then close the public hearing. And then the board can deliberate in terms of if any of the public comment that was submitted changes your mind on any part of those three packages, then what you can do is process that and decide if it should be changed or not. And then if it isn't, if nothing is changed as a result of the public comment that you receive and your further consideration, then you don't need to do anything. And on the other hand, if you decide you're going to make one change on fire pond sprinklers, for example, where people came in and said, oh, no, you can't just allow any of the three. You need to have fire ponds. And just, 20 people come in arguing for fire ponds because they love the ponds, whatever. Then you could say, okay, I think we need to rethink that. And your options would be to make a recommendation to the select board to amend it. So for example, strike out the language in there that says a developer can do any of the three. Or you could say, well, this thing is bigger than we thought. And let's recommend that the select board pull that out, that minor policy issue, pull that off and pull those amendments off and just go with the rest of it. So you'd have some options, but you don't need to do anything. This again is just one more opportunity to give the public the chance to ask for changes to this. Because after that, the select board is going to approve the final versions on April 14th. And then it goes to incorporation, the warrant articles go for incorporation into the town meeting report that goes out to all households telling them this is available online, the amendments are finalized, you'll be voting on it at the town meeting. And at that point, no changes to the ordinance amendments can be made. Then the public hearing on May 20th is the legally required, which happens a couple of weeks before the town meeting. And at that point, no changes can be made. It's just an opportunity. Rather than asking questions on the floor of the town meeting, people can discuss it at length at the public hearing and get their questions answered. And then that is required by state law to do that. Formal will be putting ads and legal ads in the paper is required by law. And then it goes to the town meeting, and I'll probably be asked to get up and do a quick snapshot of what is on the warrant articles and then answer questions. Unless one of you would be happy to stand up and represent these, because it is policy. And I much prefer to sit in the background and just answer the technical questions, but I'm willing to present that.
You, Alan, but
You're so good at it though, George.
Thank you. I've been doing it once or twice before.
Well, hopefully the public will be totally educated on it and there won't be any questions at the town meeting.
Now, can someone at the town meeting make an amendment from the floor to this? No, okay.
No.
So yeah, it's an up or down.
Yeah.
So March 18th, after that meeting or during that meeting is the only time to make any changes, right?
Well, for you to decide whether to
Okay.
make changes, right?
And then,
From there, it goes to we'll probably send some communication. I'll just follow up. If you don't make any changes.
Yep.
I'll follow up, say you had another public hearing, and the planning board, after reviewing the input, does not make any recommendations for change to the drafts that you've looked at.
so then the select board on Tuesday, April 14th, they vote on what you're calling the draft.
Yeah.
And so pretty much no changes unless they want changes.
Yeah.
No changes after that.
Right.
I'm sorry, just I need to just
Yeah.
walk through this. And then on Thursday, May 7th, this goes to the budget committee?
No, that schedule included both the budget. This is the town manager's
Oh,
schedule.
okay,
It
okay,
included both the budget and the ordinance parts.
okay.
Yeah.
So is it safe to say that on our next planning board meeting, April 1st, the land use ordinance, anything regarding land use ordinance changes will not be on our agenda?
That we can definitely not put it on.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm
There's
in
no-
favor of
there's
that.
there's no time in between. It's right after the select board has their meeting on the 19th. There's no time after that to make any
Right.
changes to bring it towards the town meeting.
Yeah, and it's after our first public hearing
Right.
or the public hearing
Right.
For any
And you
changes.
probably should announce at that meeting, just simply announce that the public hearing on the amendments will be on May 20th.
Okay.
And again, at the May meeting, make the same announcement.
Okay. Any other comments, questions on land use ordinance schedule and anything related to anything on that? No?
Are we gonna, do you have more comments for this? That we
Um,
wanted to go through today?
I
or-
don't, other
okay.
than what George forwarded to you, those are
Yeah.
my only comments, and I think we just agreed earlier that he would provide the strikeouts of what's
Yeah.
being taken out.
Yep.
I have one thing
Sure.
in here, under structure, so if you wanna go to page 24. Sorry. Okay.
Page,
Page 24, it starts on page 24. Structure, definitions of structure. So we've got structure floodplain.
I'm not following you,
Oh, sorry.
Julia.
Page 24 of the document, but 25 of the PDF. That makes sense.
The one with all the strikeouts and such is page 24. You there?
Go
I,
ahead. I'll get there. It's
um,
alphabetic, right?
Yeah,
The quick, easiest way to find it is look in the definitions. And you'll see they're all alphabetical. So structure.
Right.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
So this is change, is there a change number on that one, Juliet?
there's,
Number 42, is that where you are?
yes, that's correct. That's where it starts.
Yeah.
Pretty much where it starts, yeah. So we have, are you there, Brian?
I'm getting there, I'm in the ends.
Okay.
Restaurants, those are some nice changes there.
So overall, while he's getting there.
Yeah, okay.
The the consultant on those issues where you had multiple, they recommended consolidating them and then doing the
100%.
subheadings.
Makes great sense.
Yep.
The question I have is like the definition of structure, and I know this has come up before. Let's look at shoreline zoning, so it's, right, it's still 42. So it says for purposes of Article 14 shoreline zone, right there. Okay.
Yep.
Here,
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
Whether temporary or permanent, anything located, built, constructed, or erected for the support, shelter, or enclosure of persons, animals, goods, or property of any kind.
And just for a point of clarification,
Mhm.
this is straight out of the chapter 1000 DEP guidelines.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
This is the state approved language
Yes.
for definition.
Yes.
And it's
yes,
different
Yes.
than what we would regulate in terms of structures.
Right, right. And I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure everyone understands and I understand this from the state, but so it says to keep people or animals or goods enclosed, but yet a fence is not a structure. It goes on to say that. And so just wanted to make sure that, because this has come up before, a fence. So a fence in all of this is not a structure.
Right.
There's no roof, I guess.
You don't need a building permit.
You what?
You don't need a building permit. And the code officer can't tell you your fence is too close to the line or.
Right. So there's no setbacks for the fence. The fence is not part of that setback.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
I just wanted to make everyone, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, great.
Thank you. No, thank you, Juliet.
Yeah. That was all my only comment in all of this. I made some comments a while back that,
Have they been addressed? Are
yeah,
you satisfied?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I looked through them, yeah. And George answered, yeah, yes, answers yes.
Um, the only other, so one of the other comments I had, and George and I spoke about this, was there some, text in there about, zones A, AE, and A1 through 30. And those are not listed in our table of zones. I'm just bringing this up because in the future, we should look at our table of zones. And I'm just giving everybody a heads up that that's gonna come up. At some point in the future, not anywhere near future, but,
So
No.
there's
Something
no,
that we
there's
should-
no clarification on those zones?
well, it all has to do with aquifer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually,
so-
floodplain.
okay.
Floodplains, okay.
Okay, so the floodplain regulations, which have to, or what the state gives you through, for FEMA. They establish, basically zone A is the 100-year floodplain. And some portions of the town have had engineered studies. Newell Brook, for example, remember the road washed out? Some brooks that have a lot of road crossings,
Mhm.
they did actual elevations all the way up through to establish the 100-year flood elevation.
Mhm.
Other brooks don't have any elevation data because there's nobody out there. And so if it's AE, it's the same regulations. It's just that the elevation is known.
Hmm.
If the elevation isn't known, then somebody, a qualified surveyor, engineer has to go out and do this would be a house that's close to a brook, for example, low lying. They would have to do a study to establish what the 100-year flood elevation is. And these usually come up where somebody's trying to get a mortgage.
Mhm.
They say, oh, there's floodplain, you got to get a flood elevation certificate
Mhm.
in order to not have to have flood insurance.
Mhm.
So that's what that's about. So Brian was raising the question of should the zone A be in that in the table of uses, and I explained to him, really, it's just it's limited to the floodplain regulations. And is really not a zoning issue, it's the floodplain issue. But I did mention to him that the whole table of uses, the consultant has already put in some changes. The restaurants were listed, they had standards for restaurants, but they weren't listed as a use. So they did those because that's like an editorial change. But when we did the battery energy storage systems and solar systems, we talked about contract zoning
Mhm.
and put those in the table. And there was discussion of having other large
Mhm.
uses and projects possibly added to the table. So it would be good to kind of, after this is done,
Mhm.
we've talked about noise regulations. This could be one of those issues to look at the whole table of
Yeah.
uses and really say, does this make sense?
Yeah.
What, some of it's outdated,
I like it.
doggy daycare. Many communities now have special standards for doggy daycare.
Mhm.
And that's, I don't even know, I think it's probably still listed as kennels in here. So that's the type of update. Do it globally rather than just
Yeah.
one or two items.
So is our road commissioner aware of floodplain issues when he would be replacing a bridge on Brooks?
Typically what happens is they have an engineering firm that will, like, a very large crossing, it's a big deal.
Mhm.
DOT, DEP, possibly Army Corps is involved. And so typically it's the engineers that are doing the project that look at that stuff and that's what they do.
even though it may, well, the one that comes to mind to me is on Swamp Road, which they replaced, maybe 2 years ago.
Mhm.
And, cause it's on a small brook, it's on Meadowbrook,
Mhm.
and are you saying that odds are there was an engineer, a state engineer that would have been involved?
No, probably the town would hire an
Hire an
engineer.
engineer, independent, okay.
Yeah.
And then the state would review and approve. And-
Okay,
But no, I like that idea, Brian, going through the uses. What, after this whole thing, right?
Yeah.
I think that's something to add to our potential for next season.
Yep, it's on the list now.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Good job.
All right. Wow. 40 minutes. Anybody have anything else that we should discuss tonight?
Wow. Love it. No,
Ellen?
the answer is no, I don't.
no, I mean, we didn't have much discussion about the continuing business on 6B, but it was definitely appropriate since we had many unanswered outstanding questions.
Yes.
So that was definitely appropriate.
Yeah. And they grow the more I look at that, and think
Right.
about that. But anyway, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I question whether the applicant was fully aware. Should have been. Don't know. It was the right thing to do.
We did give them a heads up.
Okay. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay. All in favor? Okay. Thank you. Quick heads up. I know this was 40 minutes. There's a potential that next month's meeting could be a really full agenda.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah. I'm just do we have any other subdivision applicants that have outstanding issues? Do we think any of them are going to be coming forward or?
we have 3
Yeah.
cluster subdivisions that are in schematic or preliminary phase. So any one of those 3 can come in on next
Well,
month.
can I just clarify? Okay, Greystone Ridge, you already gave your preliminary approval, so they're off to the state. So I don't think you're gonna see them coming back for final.
Okay.
Okay.
Until
This
then.
one's coming back.
Yep.
Next month to hopefully get a decision on their preliminary plan. And then Ivy Ridge is in the process of filing their application. Crooker Realty is in the process of filing a conditional use application to reopen the Jackson Pit on Cushing Road. It's on the right as you go in right across from the wood processing yard. So they will be applying for a conditional use permit to reopen that pit.
Do you know how long that pit's been closed?
No,
Okay, it's.
they're claiming that it was even grandfathered from DEP. So,
Thank you for elaborating. I just wanted to let you all know that.
yeah,
it
so
could
it could be, you'll make up for it. Get your sleep tonight.
Right, exactly. That's where I was going with that.
Pay it forward.
Yeah, that's right. All right, thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank
very
you so
welcome.
much.
Oh, Chief said don't pick up because they got a meeting tomorrow, a training meeting. They said this is perfect.
These the chairs?
Yeah.
They're shorter.
Right, bonus.
Good job, Ryan.
Good job to all you. Definitely.
I'm surprised no one showed up though.
Yeah.
People here at the previous meeting are in the back.
Right.
Just leave that.
Yeah.
That's it. Use that. Probably use that for training.
See you all in 2 weeks then.
Yeah,
All right.
see you later.
Yep.
Hey, everybody.
Good night.
See ya.
Stop the meeting.
Adjourned.
Bye.